Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Iskandar Zulkarnain bin Bukhari, matrix number 263560. So my topic is about the land conflict between Palestine and Israel. The Israel-Palestinian conflict is the ongoing struggle between people of Israel and the people of Palestine. Even though Palestine hosts a majority of Muslim as its population, the same cannot be said about Israel, which hosts Jews, Christian, Druze, and Muslim. This conflict has generated different opinion from society all the way up to government level or political level, and opinion in this conflict are voiced by bloodshed. Thousands of people have died since Israel was founded in 1948 through the power of the United Nations, who were drawing up the borders for the world. The conflict between Israel and Palestine is a modern warfare, which began in the 20th century over dispute of land, which was claimed by Israel as a home for its people. Even though both sides represent different religions that are fighting over a piece of land that is historical, and not just for the Muslim and Jews but to Christian as well. When the land was split in 14th May 1948 between Jews and Palestinians, both parties began to develop national consciousness. Because of the Jews were spread all over the world, the national movement Zionism looked for an identification for the Jewish people across the world to call a place for their home. The process of immigration and settlement started, and Palestine seems the obvious home for the Jewish people since they originated from that land. In 1948, the first war began when the Arab League decided on the behalf of Palestinian people to intervene in the newly established claimed so-called Israel. This war caused over 15,000 casualties, and by the year 1949, when ceasefire was announced, Israel was occupying most of the West Bank and Egypt took Gaza, where they formed an all-Palestinian government. The dispute between Israel and Palestine occurs because of two main things: one is the land and also the Israel settlement. The main issue that can easily be noticed in this crisis is the issue of land and which part of the land goes to which party, and the main challenge of this land issue is Jerusalem. Since the Madrid Conference in 1991, which brought together for the very first time both head-to-head state of face-to-face into discussion of peace, which gave an international consensus of creating a Palestinian state in the West Bank and Gaza existing under Israel rule. This consensus raised the question of what will happen to the current Jews living in the West Bank and how Jerusalem will be shared between Palestinians and also the settler. And also the issue of refugee was all debated and has never reached any conclusion until now. The second thing is about the settlement of the Jews. Community of the Jews started to move to the West Bank as soon as it came under Israeli occupation after the 6-day war. Some have moved there for religious reasons, some for housing and it tend to be cheaper, some to claim that West Bank is for Israel. These settlers play a key role in the two-state solution that is currently in play. Most international lawyers who have looked the settlement and military occupation agree that it's break the fourth Geneva Convention, which stopped the occupying country to transfer population into the captured territory. This thing is being done by the Israel. The final problem to this two-state solution is Jerusalem. It home to some of the holiest sites in the three of the largest religion in the world, which is Christian, Jews, and of course Muslim. How to split Jerusalem remain one of the most fundamental questions in the two-state solution currently in place. The two-state solution has not worked since the Oslo occurred in 1993 and hardly get looked at from the world leaders in fear of an uprising in the Muslim world, but their likelihood of Israel becoming one state by integrating Gaza and Palestine within its territory will be a very stressful solution for the people of Palestine or Muslim living by the West Bank who would flourish under the Israeli government. As of 2020, 31 United Nations member states do not recognize the existence of the State of Israel, but 17 of 21 states in the Arab League right now sadly has recognized its existence. In conclusion, I would love to have suggested a two-state solution, but looking at the religious factors, it was always going to be impossible and unacceptable, especially for the holy sites, in which draw a lot of people in year into Israel and Palestine. Collectively, this revenue of international visitors play a key role in this democratic decision, and it's the reason why I did not suggest a two-state solution. As we all know that a lot of things have happened between Israel and Palestine. Israel are on the bad side and playing victim toward Palestine. We as a Muslim country, we need to always be together in order to solve this problem and conflict that have been occurred more than 60 years since 1948. Even though the current world leaders was leading by the United States, however, we can draw our concern, especially collective concern by all of Muslim countries. However, in this pandemic era, it would be a little bit difficult for our country to play a major role in in bringing this conflict into a resolution. There is a lot of resolution occurs, but most of them are not successful. However, it will be continue to persuade both of the party, Palestine and Israel, to have a ceasefire in order to avoid a lot of bloodshed happen.